Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chess and Chats. This morning, we're still at Jaunt Coffee Roasters, and this morning I have my sister, which is super exciting today. I have my sister Cassie here with us today. And Cassie, what do you do?
Hello, everyone. I'm a research scientist for Johnson & Johnson.
That's so cool. She's so smart. Why chess? Because just like business, it's all about strategy. Some moves win the game, while others, well, they teach you how to play smarter for next time. In each episode, I sit down with someone new, entrepreneurs, creatives, or just curious minds, and we talk real challenges, bold moves, and lessons learned along the way. So grab a coffee, pull up a chair, and let's see where the board and the conversation takes us. Chess and Chats, where every move matters on the board and in business. Do this.
All right. See, starting strong.
How would you rank your chess playing?
Very poor. Very poor. But we're here. We're doing it. And it's great.
I love the support of you doing this because I asked you to do it. Much appreciated.
Of course.
MVP of the morning for sure.
Trying my best.
In your work, what is a bold thing you've done at Johnson & Johnson that felt like a bold opening move?
Good question. I think the bold move that I've done the most at work is strongly advocating for myself. As a woman in STEM, it can definitely be difficult to stand up for yourself and your ideas. So I think the strongest thing I've done at J&J is making sure that my needs and wants for the job that I'm in now and my progression for the future is heard by upper management.
Awesome.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I think that's something super important that is often forgotten about when it comes to work in general. I feel like business owners, employees, everyone just kind of works and forgets about their boundaries. So that's super important. When do you decide between playing it safe and taking a risk in doing your experiments?
Well, a lot of times it isn't up to me to be the one to take the risks.
Okay.
It is the projects that we get requested and whether they require certain level of change, which is probably our version of like risk. So like if it's a new type of experiment that we haven't done before, but we're willing to try and take it on and hope that we can get, the results that we need the experiment to give, that would probably be the risky side of things.
How many experiments do you get that fail? Like, what's your win percentage? I don't know if I want to say win, but what's your pass fail percentages estimated?
I think it's probably 70% success.
Okay.
30% fail.
That's more than I expected.
Yeah, we have got a very large portfolio of experiments that are validated, and those ones are tried and true, if you will. They work pretty much every time. But then some of the newer ones, the new novel experiments that we haven't had the opportunity to test and validate, those are the ones where we can see failures occur. But I have always told anyone I've been hiring, any summer interns that we've had, science comes with failure. You need to be prepared for that. and there was an example where I had an 11-hour experiment that failed. I had been in the lab. It was like a 2-day setup, and it didn't work. And that's okay. That happens, and you just regroup. You see if you can learn anything from that experiment, whether you need a different control or you need different timings.
Absolutely.
As long as you're constantly learning from the failed experiments, it's never truly a fail.
Absolutely. There's a really good quote from Marcus Aurelius where the obstacle becomes the way. And it's like Thomas Edison spent, 3,000 different attempts trying to create the light bulb. And then he finally figured it out on like the 3001 try. And so he wouldn't have known the right ways to do it had he not had all the other failures. So I think that doing all these failures that you experiment with and telling your interns, I think that's very smart because it's just a natural process of life, learning by your failures.
I agree.
Do you have a go-to system for solving problems at work? Like if an experiment fails, I would imagine you probably have a.
It's more of my teammates. If ever there's unexpected results or an instrument's not performing as it should be, or I'm just, under the waves and need some assistance, I will go to my teammates. I have been very blessed to have a really great team, and I know that I can go to them for any type of conflict or questions. And so a lot of times it's opening the door from the lab and going like, this isn't what I thought. Help!
If it works, it works.
Yeah, and somebody always comes around it, so it works very nicely.
It's nice to have that kind of a support team at work.
Absolutely. Coworkers and the environment that you cultivate is the most important thing at work.
How do you find that you have cultivated that and created that team that will come when you poke your little head out and
I think that it's always remembering that, it's a two-way street. They know that they can come to me for any help. So I know that I can come to them for any help. And I've been with this team for 4.5 years now, and it's just, I put in the effort to them, they put in the effort to me.
Awesome. That's really nice.
Is it my turn?
No, it's mine, but I know I'm going to checkmate, so I was going to ask you a couple questions before I do that.
What?
What was a checkmate moment for you? A clear win you'll never forget as I sit here with my impending checkmate.
That I don't see at all.
That you don't see at all.
Well, I'll just go twice then.
I don't think that's how that works.
All right, fine. What was the question? I'm sorry.
What is a clear checkmate moment for you in work that was a clear win you'll never forget? I feel like I know your answer.
I don't know that I do.
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, what do you think?
I was going to say, and I'll step into the shoe of Cassie for a second. When I became a scientist.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That was really good.
Okay, so go ahead. I won't take the thunder anymore.
I think that throughout my career, there's been a lot of great successful moments. I think one of my biggest achievements was my career goal when I was younger was being a scientist without any phrase in front of it. So the way that the science industry works is that you have assistant scientist, associate scientist, and then scientist. And so my childhood goal, well, I guess young adult goal, was to be a scientist with nothing in front of it, and I achieved that October 2024 when I became a scientist.
almost a year. How do you feel?
Yeah, feel great. I think I've done really great things in my year as a scientist, really advanced the team, and have been a really strong team member, team player, and I couldn't be happier.
Very nice.
Yes.
I know that you recently have stepped into some of the more leadership roles. You have a couple people have or had a couple people working directly with you in a more management way. How is navigating that as you have been mostly behind the scenes scientist most of your life?
It, it was certainly tricky. Let me tell you, I went from having no direct reports to within a month having two direct reports. And the first 2 weeks was darn near impossible. I was putting 40 hours in with my direct reports and then going home and putting in an extra like 10 to 12 hours at home every day to do my own responsibilities. I It was one of those moments where I was convinced I could handle it, and then it happened and I could handle it, but it was definitely large growing pains.
Yeah.
Those first 2 weeks were rough, but then the Thursday of the second week, something clicked, and I think my direct reports were a little bit more independent by that 2 week mark, and I was able to step away from them and get my own work done without them feeling like neglected or abandoned.
Absolutely.
Because I know that it was incredibly important. One of these direct reports had never worked in an industry setting before, and that can be very jarring to come from academia to industry. Things work very differently. So it was definitely a difficult transition for them and a difficult transition for me as from scientist to manager. But 2 weeks in, my direct report got a little bit more comfortable, could work on their own a little bit more, and I was able to start doing my own responsibilities in addition to managing them. And once that was together, it was pretty smooth. The only thing that was different was learning to take pride in somebody else's work. That one took a little bit because I was no longer the one doing the experiments, but my name was still associated with the data. And it was a shift in mindset to instead of being like, look what I produced, it was look what I taught. Like, look at this individual that I taught and how well they're doing. And so that was definitely a frame shift. But once I kind of saw like that her hard work was my hard work because I taught her, I trained her, that was really fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like seeing not only how well they do, but saying like stepping back and giving them the opportunity to grow as a person and being like, yeah, I helped train that, but then I let it go so that it could cultivate. I think that's something not a lot of managers do, is remembering that like a leader shows the way and then helps along the way. People don't want to be micromanaged.
No, they do not.
And so being able to train them the first couple weeks, that was definitely growing pains. I feel like that's true in all settings, but having those growing pains and then acknowledging like, hey, they can walk on their own, it's time to take the training wheels off. I think that's something that's super important within
Absolutely,
management
yes.
roles. So kudos to you on doing that. That's impressive.
Thank you.
During the time where the growing pains were happening, and I do know that there's also some times when your experiments are driving you to lose a lot of your time and sleep, what are some things that you do to kind of find peace within those chaotic times?
Yeah. So at work, if it's particularly bad, a little walk around campus is always really nice. I know, for an example, this week I had a meeting that we actually took on the road. So we left campus, like got out of the building and walked around in the like neighborhood that the building's in, because the individual that I was meeting with, they had been in a conference all week, trapped in a building with minimal windows. I had been doing operations work at my desk all week. And so we both were like, we need a break. So let's take this on the road. We got some sunshine, we got some fresh air, we stretched our legs, but we still had our meeting. So that was really great, kind of seeing if you have flexibility there with the individuals you're meeting with to maybe take a mobile meeting where you're walking. That's always been really helpful for me. And then having a really peaceful home is kind of the other aspect of it. I definitely come home and decompress. I work a little bit too hard sometimes, and I don't necessarily always like take my lunch break and things like that. But I know that when I come home, that I've got this wonderful peaceful setting that I have kind of cultivated at home as well. Absolutely. And I can leave all of the stress from work out of my home.
Very nice. If your leadership, because we are just speaking about you being a manager now a little bit, if your leadership style was a piece on this board, what piece would you be?
I feel like I would be one of the castles. Yeah. The rook. Because I feel very strong. I feel like a very strong foundation. I feel like I'm a very large supporter at my team and for my direct reports. And I don't ever feel like I was charging forward first, but I have always felt very like stable and supportive. And I feel like these castles that are, I mean, the rooks that are kind of the supporting part of the board with their little concrete castle structures.
Yeah, concrete castle structures. I get it. I get it.
I feel like that's me as a leader.
No, I support that. And I will say on that note that rook checkmates are one of my favorite checkmates.
Oh my goodness, how wonderful.
And I don't bring them out until the very end when I'm going to check because they are my supporting piece for my checks. So I think that that's a very astute, like,
how wonderful.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share that. As we finish up here with my checkmate.
Ouch.
I'll let you really think on that for a minute.
Can't I kill you?
No, because both my knight and my bishop are. But then if you move here, my knight will kill you. And if you move here, my queen, so...
You and those ponies.
Dang ponies.
Well, I'm killing your queen for the sake of it.
Okay, that's fine. What's your go-to coffee order?
Tricky.
I know.
Go-to coffee order, my drip machine at home. But we love a budget. We love saving. It's great.
Off.
My go-to coffee order. Today, I got a cinnamon coffee. I love a cinnamon coffee. That is one of my go-tos, I think, whenever I'm like out. I was like, I don't go out to coffee as often, but I do love like a spice. So a lot of times I'll get like a spiced latte or like a spiced hot chocolate or sometimes just like a chai.
I was about to say chai is like exactly what you just described. Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay, my final question for today. If you could play chess or get coffee with any industry leader, business leader, your idol, who would it be and why?
I think I would be interested to talk with I think I would be interested to talk to Johnson & Johnson's current CEO, Joaquin Dorado. I believe his last name is.
Let's call him out. Joaquin, do you want to do this with my sister?
No, please don't. Oh my goodness.
She's a great chess player, I swear.
I'm so not. Oh my goodness. His whole family is famous ultimately. So he's from Spain, or his family's from Spain. And his sister's like a famous movie star. Like, he's got this, like, the genes on that family are crazy. Can I say that on the internet? I don't know. Yeah, I think I would love to sit down and have chess with Joaquin because I I'm just curious. Like, what does it take to be the CEO? You know, he's very. Sorry, go ahead. What?
I was just gonna say, I feel like you can relate to him because his whole family is famous in movie star and other ways, and so to me, that's like a family kind of business.
Almost, yeah.
And
It's
knowing
like
that,
this whole little successful family.
yeah, and knowing that your whole family, we all work together, and you kind of went off on your own to become a scientist. I think that you and him would have something to relate about with that.
Yeah. So I think it would just be very fascinating to kind of hear about his like journey to CEO and what he does on a day-to-day basis. Like, what's it take to be the CEO of a
Because you're
nationwide?
You're gonna step into that one day, right?
I don't know about that. They seem to travel a lot. I don't know how I feel about that.
You're like, sorry, no.
Yeah.
If I could stay home and lead from San Diego,
perfect.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just would be interested.
Awesome. Well, good game. Thank you for joining me today. And
thanks for having me.
Of course.